Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports Talk. Today is Thursday, November 3rd, 2016, and this is my Week 9 video for NFL DFS GPPs on FanDuel for this upcoming week. A quick recap on Week 8. Week 8 was horrible for me. It probably was my worst week of the whole NFL season. Just kind of going over my lineup. Julio Jones, 4.4 points. I think he got kind of banged up in the game. Spencer Ware, 5.7 points. I think he got a concussion. T.Y. Hilton, 2.5 points. I think he hurt his hamstring. Andrew Luck, completely horrible. Booker did okay, 14.9 fantasy points. But overall, Week 8 was just a disappointment, and it was a bad week. Not really going to make any excuses or anything. I just know that's part of the game when you're playing daily fantasy. But it can be discouraging. But, in daily fantasy, you always have another day, another week, a new opportunity to try to get better, a new opportunity to try to be great, and a new opportunity to try to be the best. So despite, my failures from last week, I'm going to move past it and just try to be optimistic and look forward to doing better this week. I never thought I would do that bad, but, it's just motivation for me. So with that being said, I'm going to start talking about this slate for Week 9. And there's a few quarterback wide receiver stacks that I do like for this upcoming week. One of them is kind of chalky, and the other two or three are kind of more contrarian. But my top quarterback wide receiver stack, I'm going to have to go with the Cheeseheads. Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Aaron Rodgers, top price quarterback at 9,100 for the Green Bay Packers. And I think it's a good stack to pair him up with Davante Adams. Now, Aaron Rodgers, he's at home at Lambeau Field. He's in a good matchup. The Indianapolis Colts, they're 31st versus the pass, 29th overall in defense. Aaron Rodgers, he had a good game in his last game. 33.8 fantasy points, four passing touchdowns, 60 yards rushing. And just when you consider all those factors, I think Aaron Rodgers is a great play for this week. And I like stacking him up with Davante Adams because in the last 2 weeks combined, Davante Adams has had 30 targets. That's an average of 15 targets per game. When any receiver can get about 15 targets per game, I feel you have to consider him. And if Randall Cobb and Ty Montgomery, if they are all out again this week, I definitely like Davante Adams even more. The Packers really don't have a run game to speak of with Eddie Lacy being out on injured reserve. I think their main running back is either Ty Montgomery or this other guy named Jackson. So they really do have to lean on the pass versus a Colts team who has struggled overall this season. So, again, Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, it may be kind of chalky, but, I think it's a very, very good play, for this upcoming week, Week 9. A couple of the other stacks that I like that may not be so chalky and may be kind of risky and just kind of contrarian plays, but, I like the spots that they're in. I'm going to go to Miami, Ryan Tannehill and Jarvis Landry. Ryan Tannehill at a good price tag of $7,300. And Jarvis Landry, I really like him as a receiver. Overall this season, Landry, he's 10th in receiving yards with 572, and he's sixth in receptions with 46. 15th in the league with targets. A lot of people may overlook Miami. They were on a bye on last week. And another thing, going up against the Jets. The Jets, let me look at this real quick. They're ranked 32nd versus the pass. So I think Ryan Tannehill and Jarvis Landry could be a very, very sneaky play. If you're making a lot of lineups, I definitely think this is one of the stacks that you can use that will likely go low on. Now, I say this saying that I know Tannehill, he isn't a good quarterback. He hasn't been that great this season. If you look at his game logs, he's only surpassed the 20 fantasy point mark on FanDuel 2 times. One time in week 2 against the New England Patriots, and then against the Cleveland Browns in week 3 on September 25th. So again, it's a risky play, but in GPPs, sometimes you have to think different and take those type of risks. And going up against a vulnerable defense in the New York Jets and a dynamic wide receiver in Jarvis Landry, he's definitely his number one target. I like that as one possible sneaky stack. Another stack that I like is Joe Flacco and Mike Wallace going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the reason I like that, let me go on Flacco. Flacco, good price, 7,500. Steelers, they're ranked 27th versus the pass. The Ravens were on a bye. A lot of teams, a lot of people who play DFS, they look at all the stats from the previous week. So they'll look at all the box scores and the game stats for week 8. And with the Ravens and the Dolphins not even playing week 8, they may go overlooked. And again, the Steelers, they're ranked 27th versus the pass. Flacco, he's a good deep ball thrower. And I like pairing him up with Mike Wallace because we all know he has a lot of speed. And then Mike Wallace, he used to play for Pittsburgh. That was the team he came into the league with. So a little narrative there about, playing his former team. So, when you combine all those factors, the low ownership, Mike Wallace playing his former team, Pittsburgh being a bottom-ranked defense versus the pass, I think that could definitely be another sneaky stack. Joe Flacco and Mike Wallace. So those are my 3 favorite quarterback wide receiver stats for this week. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, which I admit could be kind of chalky. If you want to go contrarian, I like Ryan Tannehill and Jarvis Landry. And then I also like Joe Flacco and Mike Wallace. I also want to say that if you consider playing any of these stacks, definitely research the weather. I'm just picking these stats based on the matchups. I have no idea what the weather is going to be like on Sunday, but weather can play a big role in the passing game. So as far as the matchup, I like them, but you're definitely going to have to dig in and, kind of make sure it's no inclement weather, no gusty winds that could affect the passing game in a negative way. Now I'm just going to talk about position by position. Go starting off with the receiver position. So, again, I already mentioned I like Jarvis Landry. I think Amari Cooper could be a good GPP play. A lot of people get scared against Denver's defense, Akeem Talib and, Von Miller. But, they went off on last week. So, and it's a primetime game. It's a battle for first place in the AFC West. Cooper, he's at a price tag of $7,700. So I think it could be a good GPP play if you play Cooper. I'm not interested in T.Y. Hilton. Kind of scared of his hamstring injury. Another great GPP play, I like Odell Beckham Jr. coming off a bye. Philadelphia, they have been good against the pass so far this season. But we all know what kind of potential Odell Beckham Jr. has. Just look at October 16th. 36 fantasy points facing when he played against Baltimore. And at that time, Baltimore is ranked 4th against the pass. The Eagles are ranked 5th against the pass. Odell Beckham, he definitely has, the potential to go off and have a strong performance. So, Depending on how you build your lineup, I like Odell Beckham at receiver. Um, Let me look at the New Orleans guys. I'm really not feeling the New Orleans Saints receivers. I could be wrong. Drew Brees, he has been pretty good, the last, three or 4 weeks or so. But I just have a feeling that he's not going to have that strong of a game at San Francisco. I could be wrong because Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But Michael Thomas, Snead, and Cooks, I'm just not really feeling them this week. I already mentioned Wallace and Devontae Adams. I don't like the Denver receivers, mainly because I don't like the quarterback in Trevor Siemian. I don't think he can really get the job done. Just kind of looking through the player pool. Yeah, I think those are my top plays at receiver. Again, let me talk about Antonio Brown. The only way I would consider Antonio Brown is if Ben Roethlisberger plays, and I'm not even sure if Big Ben is going to play because he's battling that. He's coming back from that knee surgery. So again, for me, for the receiver position, I'm looking at Green Bay receivers, mainly Devontae Adams, and you could throw Jordy Nelson in there also. His price tag is just kind of high. And any other receivers that could play, depending on if Montgomery and Cobb, if they play or if they out. Green Bay's receiving core. I love Jarvis Landry. Hopefully the weather is nice in Miami, and Tannehill can have a good game. I love Mike Wallace. I think he's in a great spot. And Odell Beckham Jr., he got one of the highest upsides of any receiver on this particular main slate for Sunday. So that's pretty much my take on receiver. I didn't really research deep into it this week because I've been playing a lot of NBA, but that's my take on the receiver position. Now I'm gonna move on to quarterback. Again, I think Aaron Rodgers is the top play. I like Tannehill as a sneaky play and Joe Flacco as a sneaky play. I think Derek Carr is a good GPP play. 500 yards passing, that was incredible what he did in Week 8. Now, it is against a good one of the best defenses in the league in the Denver Broncos, but that's what makes it a good GPP play if you want to be risky, because a lot of people are going to be scared, to pull the trigger on that. So if he can just have even somewhere close to the type of success that he had this past week, it makes for a good GPP play. Just kind of looking through. I don't like Drew Brees. I just don't like him. Not at San Francisco. I could be wrong, but I just don't like him this week. I'm not gonna play him. He has been good, like I said, but sometimes he do struggle on the road. And there's no way I'm playing Andrew Luck after what he did this past week against the Kansas City Chiefs at home. Now, Green Bay, their secondary does have a lot of injuries. I will admit, for those of you who do play Andrew Luck, it'll be a good GPP play because a lot of people are going to be like me. He burnt me last week, and I don't want no part of him. So his ownership should be lower this week than in Week 9 than it was in Week 8. And which means if he do happen to have a good game against Green Bay, you'll have him at low ownership. But I'm not just going to make that move. So, for me, it's Aaron Rodgers, that chalky play. But I really, really like Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to research some more into what the weather's going to be like in Miami. But Tannehill, coming off a bye week, he's that guy I like to try to be contrarian. Tannehill or Joe Flacco at quarterback. I just want to I have nothing to lose. A lot of people are going to pick Aaron Rodgers. I already know that. So picking Tannehill or Flacco, both of those teams coming off byes, it could put me in a good position to be successful this week. I'm going to move on real quick. the running back position. Ezekiel Elliott, he's the best play by far. He's at a premium price, the 9,200. So you have to be really creative with constructing your lineup. I'm not sure how. Well, it's possible, but it'll be tough to fit Aaron Rodgers and Ezekiel Elliott in the same lineup. But Ezekiel Elliott going up against the Cleveland Browns, who ranks 31st versus the rush. Elliott, he's number one in the league in rushing yards with 799. Fourth in carries. I just love this matchup for him, and maybe the price tag of 9,000 plus may scare some people away, may lower his ownership. So Ezekiel Elliott may be chalky, I'm not sure, but he's by far my top play at running back, and I'll make sure I'll have him in my GPP lineup for this week. Other running backs that I want to mention, Shakandrick West. If Spencer Ware doesn't play, Shakandrick West is a great value play at 5,600. Jacksonville Jaguars, they're 27th versus the rush. Alex Smith, he's been ruled out, so Nick Foles is going to be the quarterback. Maybe they lean on the run a little more and play a little conservative. So I love Shakandrick West, especially if Spencer Ware sits out because he had that concussion. Great value play of 5,600. DeMarco Murray's questionable. Keep an eye on his injury report. If he's out, Derrick Henry, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year, could be a good value play. I believe he's like in that 5,000 price tag range, maybe like somewhere between 5,500 and 6,000. Definitely consider him. Kind of looking through the running back pool. Hey, Matt Forte. Matt Forte could be a great play. It could be an excellent play now that I look at it. Forte, the last two games, October 23rd versus Baltimore, 27.4 fantasy points. October 30th versus Cleveland, 22.8 fantasy points. If you look at, all of his games this season, he has 3 games in which he surpassed the 20 fantasy point mark on FanDuel. But to add on to that, he's in a great matchup. Dolphins, 30th versus the rush. I think you really, really have to pay attention to where these teams rank versus defending the run or the pass. And with the Dolphins, ranking 30th, Matt Forte is a great play. And I may try to find a way to fit him in my lineup. A lot of times when I do these videos, I freestyle it. I'm looking at my lineup and looking at things as I talk with you guys. So Matt Forte, I think he's another great play. A sneaky play, Todd Gurley. He's had a bad sophomore season. I'm looking at his game logs. His highest rushing total of the year is 85. The Panthers are 3rd versus the rush. The Rams are coming off a bye. So nobody's gonna pick Todd Gurley. He's probably gonna be less than 10% on, based on his price tag and his production for this season. But if you have a GPP mindset and you know the potential that he showed from his rookie season, coming off a bye week, if you want to get risky like that, Todd Gurley could be a great GPP play. When you playing these GPP, sometimes you have to just take risks, take chances, pull the trigger, and try to go against the grain. So Todd Gurley, I know he got the capabilities, he just hasn't done it so far this season. But if you're one of those people out there who make all these different lineups, 10 plus lineups, go ahead and throw Todd Gurley in one. He might have his 150 plus rushing yard game, couple touchdowns. You never know. Yeah, I see Derrick Henry. He's 5,900. But again, I'm looking at the running back position. For me, it's all about Ezekiel Elliott, top running back. I like Matt Forte. Spencer Ware is out. Shakandrick West. And those are the three main plays I like at running back. You can get sneaky Todd Gurley. Think he's an interesting play. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm definitely using Elliott though. I gotta work on my second running back, but Ezekiel Elliott, I'm using him. And again, like I mentioned earlier, when they put that price tag high, sometimes that's a good thing because that decreases the ownership. Because sometimes people just be like, that price is too high, but I'm thinking it's going to be worth it this game. So I talked about wide receiver, I talked about quarterbacks, I talked about running backs, and I'll talk about the last position, which I rarely ever get right, but you gotta pick it. Tight end. My favorite tight end for week 9 is going to be Travis Kelce. He had a strong game last week. 10 targets, 7 receptions, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. I'm not sure. I guess Alex Smith and Nick Foles played in the last game, because I know Smith got hurt with the concussion. But showing that chemistry, hopefully, I'm not sure how much of his production was on the I'm not sure how much of his production was from Nick Foles or Alex Smith, but Nick Foles coming in, backup quarterback. The Chiefs don't really have no deep down threat receivers. If Kansas City throw the ball, I expect them to throw short passes. Jacksonville, they're 8th versus the pass, which is surprising to me. Jacksonville, they're 13th ranked defensively. But if Kansas City pass the ball, I think, Kelce is going to be the number 1 option. And with receivers and tight ends, you're looking for targets. And, I expect Kelce to get the most targets. With running backs, you're looking for carries and targets as well, but mainly carries. That's why I like Ezekiel Elliott, because he gets the carries. But again, the top 2 targets for Kansas City is Jeremy Maclin and Travis Kelce. And if Spencer Ware is out, I like this play even more. So Kelce, he's going to be my top tight end, for week 9. I also like Kyle Rudolph for the Minnesota Vikings. Let me look at Rudolph real quick. He hasn't really shown much in the past few weeks, but I liked his early season, success. With his price at $5,000, I think he's a decent play if you need to find some value at the tight end position. But any of y'all that watch my videos in the past, y'all know that I struggle with picking the tight end. I never know who to pick, but I really like Kelce this week. A decent price of $6,600, and I think he has a strong performance, and his value increases for me if Spencer Ware is ruled out again this week. Last 2 positions on FanDuel is kicker and team defense. I really don't talk about kickers. You just kind of have to just do your research, look for which games have the high point totals, look for the stadium weather conditions or the game environments to see which stadiums or domes are conducive to good kicking, things of that nature. So I like Justin Tucker. Let me look at Justin Tucker real quick. He averaged the 2nd most fantasy points per game this season, right behind Adam Vinatieri. They're at home versus Pittsburgh, coming off a bye, so I like Tucker, but there's always multiple options you can pick at kicker. Team defense, I like Kansas City as my favorite. I get team defenses wrong a lot, but one thing that I like about Kansas City, they're coming off a game where they just had 6 sacks. Let me see who they were playing last week. They had 6 sacks versus Andrew Luck. So, playing at home, good home field advantage. Playing against Blake Bortles, who sometimes, try to hold the ball and scramble. Maybe they can get some sacks, So I like Kansas City. But, defense is not something that I'm really good at picking. But, that's who I like. So basically, That's my lineup strategy for GPPs for this week. Again, a quick recap. I think Aaron Rodgers is the top quarterback on the slate. Good matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. The Green Bay Packers, they coming off a loss to my Atlanta Falcons, so they need this win. It's at home at Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers, former MVP, Super Bowl champion. Definitely, he's the top quarterback in my opinion for this slate, and I think it's smart to pair him up with Devontae Adams. 30 targets over the last 2 weeks. If you don't want to be really, really chalky and you want to try to be kind of contrarian, go against the grain, I like Ryan Tannehill, depending on what the weather is in Miami. I'm going to research that. But Tannehill and Jarvis Landry, they do have the potential to, put up a strong performance against the Jets defense who are ranked near the bottom as far as defending the pass. So I like them too. I also like Joe Flacco and Mike Wallace, depending on the weather in that game also. Going up against a Pittsburgh team, who's ranked towards the bottom in the pass as well. And again, I also want to add the Dolphins and the Ravens coming off bye weeks. So they've had, a couple weeks to prepare for their opponents. So those are stacks I like. I love Ezekiel Elliott. Love him this week. I love Matt Forte. Love Chakandrick West, especially if Spencer Ware sits out. That's about all I like at running back. You could take a chance, roll the dice with Todd Gurley, because he could have one of his monster games, at least one before this season is over with. Tight end, a position that I'm really not good at. I like Travis Kelce, especially if Spencer Ware is out. Sometimes they gotta throw the ball to someone, and he's their top, if not top 2 option as far as in the passing game for Kansas City. Don't really see any other tight ends on the slates that I like as much as him. And I just had talked about kickers and team defenses. Just do your research and try to make the smart play. And that's about it for my lineup strategy. Again, week 8. Just got to move past it. This is daily fantasy. This is not season long. Season long, you have a bad draft, have a couple bad players on your team. You can't drop them. You can't make a trade for them, and it kind of messes up your season as a whole. But this daily fantasy, we get a clean slate. I got the same opportunity as anybody who won hundreds of thousands or millions on last week. We all start on the same level. All it takes is, putting in, paying for one of those contests, putting the entry fee, and, just, looking at the lineups, doing your research, and, seeing what happened. You just have to believe in yourself, because at any given week, any given night, you can be at the top of any of these contests. We all can do it. But, that's about it. I'm not going to keep talking on and on and on. I'm just going to hopefully do better this week in week 9. And tonight, Thursday Night Football, my Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We about to go 6-3. Make sure y'all check that out. Again, as always, I want to give thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone who's taking the time out to view this video. Thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel. And thanks for everyone who's following on all the social media outlets. Be sure to search the hashtag BeTheBestDFS and follow me on all the social media. Definitely make sure y'all join that Facebook group. Got a lot of good NBA DFS players in that Facebook group. We be going live. We post different contests on FanDuel to play against each other in head-to-heads and tournaments. It's a lot of good interaction in that Facebook group. So make sure y'all join that. I'm going to try to step my game up on Instagram and Twitter. I'm just be busy working and doing things, so I can't really stay on top of it. But I'm going to try to step my game up on that. But again, thanks for everyone for, all the support. I still got lineup assistance available. Anyone interested in getting, helpful tips or getting some lineups from me, just hit me up through email, BeTheBestDFS@gmail.com. or just hit me on any of the social media. And my PayPal is bradford.best@yahoo.com. But it's not even all about the money. That's just something extra that I do for anyone interested. But again, thanks again everyone for the support. Hope y'all have a good day today. Hope y'all have a good week on the NFL this upcoming week. And as always, try to be the best this week. Try to be the best tonight. And just, try to be the best. All right, I'm out.